Imagine waking up tomorrow and discovering only a few thousand humans are left on Earth. One deadly disease, one brutal winter, or one failed hunt could erase humanity forever. It sounds like the end of the world, but for our ancestors, that wasn't fiction. It was everyday life. Tens of thousands of years ago, humans weren't the rulers of Earth. We weren't the biggest, we weren't the fastest, and we definitely weren't the strongest. Every sunrise brought a new battle for survival. Hungry predators roamed the same land. Food could disappear overnight. Even a minor injury could become a death sentence. In fact, some scientists believe there were times when the entire human population may have dropped to only a few thousand people. Think about that for a second. Every person alive today, nearly 8 billion of us, may exist because a tiny group of survivors refused to give up. So here's the real question. How did one of the weakest creatures on Earth survive, while countless stronger species vanished forever? The answer wasn't strength, it wasn't luck, and it certainly wasn't because nature was kind. To understand why humans survived, we have to travel back to a world where survival itself was humanity's greatest achievement. Picture an Ice Age landscape. Towering mammoths walk across frozen plains, saber-toothed cats stalk their prey, giant bears rule entire valleys. Now place a human in the middle of that world. No claws, no fangs, no thick fur, no incredible speed. Compared to the animals around them, humans looked completely defenseless. A wolf could outrun them, a bear could overpower them. Even smaller predators had sharper teeth and better senses. If survival were based on physical strength alone, humans should have disappeared long ago. Daily life was brutally unforgiving. Imagine waking before sunrise after eating almost nothing for days. Your family is depending on you to find food, but every step away from camp is a risk. You might discover a herd of animals or walk straight into the territory of a hungry predator. There are no hospitals, no medicine, no rescue teams. A broken leg could mean starvation. A deep cut could become a deadly infection. One failed hunt might leave your entire family without food. And as if predators weren't enough, the world itself never stopped changing. Rivers shifted, forests disappeared, temperatures rose, then plunged without warning. Animals migrated to new lands, which meant humans had to follow them or face starvation. Entire families often packed up everything they owned, not because they wanted adventure, but because staying in one place meant certain death. Every journey was a gamble. They had no maps, no idea what lay beyond the next mountain, only experience and hope. Then the climate became even harsher. Massive ice sheets spread across huge parts of the planet. Food became scarcer. Winters grew longer. Countless species couldn't adapt and slowly disappeared from the Earth. Humans were facing the exact same nightmare. By every logical measure, they should have gone extinct too. But instead of changing their bodies, humans began changing something far more powerful: their minds. Unlike every other animal, humans could learn. More importantly, they could teach. A sharper stone, a safer path through the valley, a better place to build camp. None of these discoveries looked revolutionary, but every small improvement made tomorrow a little safer than yesterday. Over hundreds, then thousands of generations, those tiny improvements began stacking together. For the first time, survival wasn't about who had the strongest muscles. It was about who had the best ideas. A child no longer had to learn everything through painful mistakes. They learned from their parents, their grandparents, and everyone around them. One hunter's failure became the group's lesson. One successful hunt became knowledge that could survive for generations. Without realizing it, humans had created something almost no other species possessed: knowledge that could outlive the people who discovered it. And then everything changed. Fire. Today, starting a fire takes seconds. But for ancient humans, it may have been the greatest discovery in history. No one knows exactly who first controlled it. Maybe lightning struck a tree. Maybe a wildfire left burning branches behind. At some point, someone made a decision that changed humanity forever. Instead of running away from the flames, they carried them home. Suddenly, darkness wasn't as terrifying. Predators stayed farther away. Families survived freezing nights that once would have killed them. Places that had been too cold to live in became possible homes. But fire's greatest gift wasn't warmth. It was food. Cooking made meat easier to eat. It destroyed dangerous bacteria. It unlocked more energy from every meal. That extra energy meant longer journeys, better hunts, stronger bodies, and perhaps most importantly, bigger, more capable brains. But the biggest transformation happened after sunset. Before fire, night meant sleep. Once the sun disappeared, the day was over. Now, families gathered around glowing flames. Hunters shared stories about dangerous animals. Elders explained where rivers stayed full during droughts. Children listened carefully, learning lessons they hadn't experienced themselves. Those stories weren't entertainment. They were survival manuals. Every story remembered meant one less deadly mistake. Every lesson shared gave the next generation a better chance. Knowledge was no longer trapped inside one person's mind. It belonged to the entire group. And as knowledge spread, humans discovered another advantage that no predator could ever match. They learned that together, they were far stronger than they could ever be alone. No human could bring down a mammoth alone, but a group, working with a plan, could do what seemed impossible. Some tracked footprints across the ground. Others waded ahead with simple wooden spears. Another group quietly blocked the animal's escape. Each person had a role. By themselves, they were vulnerable. Together, they became one of the most effective hunters on Earth. But teamwork wasn't just about hunting. It changed the way humans survived. Someone too old to run could still teach. Someone too young to hunt could still learn. Someone injured could make tools. Every person had value. Every skill mattered. For the first time, survival depended on the entire community. Then something incredible happened. Human progress stopped resetting. If the best hunter died, his knowledge didn't disappear. It had already been passed to the next generation. Every child started life with thousands of years of experience behind them. Imagine building a tower. Every generation adds just one more brick, a sharper spear, a stronger shelter, a safer campsite, a smarter hunting strategy. None of these inventions changed the world overnight, but together they slowly transformed humanity. While other animals relied on evolution, humans relied on innovation. Instead of growing thicker fur, they made warm clothing. Instead of growing stronger claws, they crafted better tools. Instead of waiting for nature to become easier, they found ways to overcome it. This became humanity's greatest superpower: adaptation. When forests disappeared, humans learned to live on open grasslands. When temperatures dropped, they built better shelters and stayed close to fire. When familiar food became scarce, they searched for new plants, new animals, and new places to live. They didn't adapt through biology. They adapted through ideas. But even that wasn't enough to guarantee survival. There were moments when humanity came terrifyingly close to disappearing forever. A single drought, a brutal winter, or years of failed hunts could wipe out entire groups. Some researchers believe our ancestors went through a population bottleneck, a time when only a tiny number of humans remained alive. Imagine the pressure. Every child born, every successful hunt, every winter survived meant the difference between extinction and a future. If just a few more people had died, you, me, everyone alive today might never have existed. Yet somehow, humanity survived. But our ancestors weren't alone on Earth. They shared the planet with other human species, and unlike us, those humans eventually disappeared. For thousands of years, modern humans weren't the only humans on Earth. Different human species lived across Europe, Asia, and beyond. Some were stronger than us. Some were better built for freezing climates. They survived for hundreds of thousands of years. Yet one by one, they vanished. Scientists are still debating exactly why. Climate change, competition, disease, even interbreeding may have played a role. But one pattern stands out. Modern humans never stopped adapting. Every challenge became another lesson. Every failure became another improvement. Every generation inherited more knowledge than the one before. Better tools, better shelters, better ways to hunt, better ways to work together, alone. None of those discoveries seemed world-changing, but together, they quietly changed the destiny of our species. Imagine visiting an ordinary campsite 50,000 years ago. You wouldn't see kings, great cities, or incredible inventions. Just a few families gathered around a fire, children laughing, hunters repairing spears, elders telling stories beneath the stars. It would look completely ordinary, but hidden inside that ordinary moment was the future of humanity. Every lesson shared around that fire, every tool made a little sharper, every child protected through another winter became one more step forward. Those small steps never stopped. Camps became villages, villages became cities, cities became civilizations. Humans crossed deserts, climbed mountains, sailed across oceans, and, eventually, walked on the moon. Looking at the modern world, it's easy to think humanity was always destined to succeed. But history tells a different story. There was no guarantee our ancestors would survive the next winter. No promise they'd find enough food. No certainty humanity would still exist today. Nature gave them every reason to fail. Predators, hunger, disease, ice ages, a constantly changing world. Yet every time the odds stacked against them, they found another way forward. Not because they were the strongest, not because they were the fastest, and not because they were simply lucky. They survived because they could learn faster than the world could defeat them. And that is the real answer to the question we started with. Ancient humans didn't escape extinction because of one incredible invention or one heroic moment. They survived because millions of ordinary decisions made by ordinary people slowly became extraordinary. One story shared around a fire, one better tool, one family helping another, one child learning from an elder, again and again, for thousands of generations, until those tiny victories became impossible to erase. Everything we are today, every nation, every language, every invention, every person alive, exists because our ancestors never stopped adapting. They weren't the strongest species Earth had ever seen. They became the one that never stopped learning, and in the end, that was enough to change the world forever.